Hello, beautiful friends. I wanted to do a new moon in Pisces reading, considering that's coming right up on Saturday, the 13th. Yeah, so there's a lot going on with Pisces right now. The Sun and Neptune are also conjunct in Pisces, and Neptune is the planet that rules Pisces. So that makes this a highly spiritual time. We might be feeling really connected to others, or a deepening in our sense of purpose, or just connecting to the spirit network. We might be also feeling helpful to others, or more romantic, like maybe you're crushing on somebody and you've been seeing the signs or something. The flip side of this is that there's a sort of a sense of romantic delusion about things. So we might look too deeply into something that's not as significant as we think it is. It can also exacerbate inclinations into codependency or martyrdom, or just giving more of yourself than you should to a situation or a person that you're idealizing. So just something to keep in mind. We really want to lock stuff down right now that might not be super substantiated, but it could be, as I mentioned, a great time for spiritual growth and exploration. Because of Neptune, Jessica Lanyadoo, who's the best person ever, just kidding, not the best person ever, but a masterful astrologer, she recommends people not fucking with drugs, because Neptune is just it rules drug use and just the mist, and it's just a good time to stay clear, which brings us to our reading. We are going to do a 3-card reading on how am I being too idealistic or not seeing reality, as Neptune can sometimes occlude. What truths am I trying to escape, and how can I better confront the truth? So we have here, okay, so how am I being too idealistic, or not seeing reality? So in this deck, this is the Thoth deck. I don't read upside down cards just because it kind of encapsulates the whole energy anyways. The Thoth deck's a little bit of a harsh toke, but here we have the Fool, which is the beginning and the end of the tarot. So this archetype represents our instincts and personal wisdom. I don't know if you've noticed how little kids and old people both kind of have this vibe of just being exactly who the fuck they are, and not wearing a mask, or caring how hot their tea is, they're just you stink, or do that better, I don't know. That is because they are connected to the Fool energy, this fresh authenticity. It's the place of consciousness before birth and after death, like a DMT trip. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. This card represents our unbridled potential and embarking on a new journey. So this card is a little bit more illustrious, but in the typical Rider-Waite, it shows, the guy walking on a cliff, and he's just about to walk off because he's looking up at the universe, and this dog is hey, watch out. This is a generally benefic card that is about starting a new chapter in our life, but considering the placement of it, it might be a time when we're being a little too optimistic about how change could happen, or success could be accomplished right now. So a lot of us are really flippin' sick of COVID-19 and probably want to start over, maybe want to move, or start a new business, which I am doing, but or love interest. This could be about a lot of things, but considering the placement of it, you might be being a little idealistic about it, and not looking before you leap, which sometimes the universe does have your back, but maybe now is a little bit of an idealistic time and you're not seeing things exactly clearly. And it might just not be the right time. It doesn't mean it won't happen. But yeah, so take a moment to look at like the limitations that exist around us expressing our ideals and like selves, like in the material realm. So you're still, of course, encouraged to like express your nature and like pursue your goals, but it's important to make decisions considering the like, it's a really kind of like misty time right now. Like making big changes and like taking big risks is, I guess, not being advised in this exact moment. What truths am I trying to escape? Here, how very Piscean. Well, actually, it's ruled by Cancer, but like it really connects with all water signs. This is the Knight of Cups. He's offering his Holy Grail with the crabby in it, and he's riding Pegasus. So the Knight of Cups generally represents people that are water signs, or specifically Cancers, but it could be, you know, Scorpio or Pisces. But generally, just this card represents emotional maturity, loyalty, unconditional love, trust. You know, all the things that make being human tolerable. Just like the gushy, lovely sides of us. If you notice, he does not have a helmet on. The Knight of Cups is the only knight in the tarot that does not come helmed. And this represents the ability to be vulnerable and unguarded. The Knight of Cups represents love that's bigger than ourselves, where we're able to remove our egos and be of service, like for the betterment of our relationships in a way that's mature and nourishing and not like codependent or like indolent. You're not just like draining yourself for others. You're showing up in a way that is trusting and vulnerable and kind and strong. Yes, so considering the placement, so as a reminder, we're going over like what truths we're trying to escape in this situation. So a risk in this transit right now is that people might be trying to lock stuff down, like romantically or otherwise, just anything that has to do with ideals. But it's important to remember that when we start something, it develops, right? So when we have a crush on somebody and we pursue that or something, like what's going to be required eventually is vulnerability, honesty, emotional maturity, and depending on your terms, some level of commitment, right? So it's important to just know what you're getting yourself into and to ask yourself if like that's something that you are able to do or ready for. It's important to be clear about what your intentions are with others, as well as like know what other people's intentions are with you, because when we don't have conversations about that, people can get hurt. But yeah, this is just kind of like, it could also be about you in a situation being asked to access forgiveness or look at how you could use kindness or positive regard to improve a situation in your life that you think it's the other person and you're like, they messed up, like they need to do something. Like what holy grail could you offer? Like, because again, we're talking about what truths am I trying to escape? So it could be we're telling ourselves like, oh, I'm just this like really pious, sweet person, when in fact we could be using this energy. Also, this could be about being codependent. So the flip side of this is that you're just like giving and giving and giving. So yeah, maybe you're jumping too far into something that's not being reciprocated. Again, just communicating and being vulnerable and honest seems like the move right now, and just keeping in mind that it's a very misty time, Neptune. Our last card is the Knight of Swords, which represents air signs. So that's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This card is air of water, which is passionate thinking, also known as obsessive focus and determination. I know a lot of people with this quality. So, again, this is how I can better confront these truths. So we might have big goals or ideals, but if we keep dreaming about them and trusting that things are just gonna work out, like the Fool, and like putting our emotions into it, like this fellow, but don't really incorporate the mental aspect or planning or detail-oriented things, paying attention, our dreams are gonna stay in the idea phase, which is something I struggle with. I'm sure we all do, but this energy is like keeping your eye on the prize. It's being focused and determined and intentional in your thinking especially, but that also translates into our behavior. So again, this card represents like air signs, and therefore like the tendency to kind of, I don't want to say, like, it's a sort of emotional detachment in the interest of seeing things truthfully or like as information rather than a feeling, which is probably useful in a time like this considering how watery it is. Also, Mercury is going into Pisces on the 15th. So yeah, this card has to do with communication as well. Yeah, so we should consider how emotional and idealistic this time can be when we're making decisions. And if we focus on like the bigger picture and keep our longer term goals in mind and systematically work at them, this is an important energy to guide our behavior in a time that we could really easily get swept up in a moment and lose track of like what we were working on. So that's, you know, it could be fun, it could not be fun, it depends on how you look at it, but remaining focused on reality is on the now, because air signs are very much about right now. So yeah, not brooding about the past or being super idealistic about the future, but kind of just paying attention to what is. So yeah, we had the Fool. Not taking too many risks right now. Finding ways to express yourself that are safe and not gonna screw you over. That was how am I being too idealistic? This was, again, what truths am I trying to escape? So this is like emotional maturity, commitment, unconditional positive regard. So like, do you have like beer goggles on for somebody? Are you not seeing them as they truly are? Are you not being as truthful with yourself about your intentions? Like, could you be using this? Themes, cups. And then lastly, how can I confront the truth of the situation, which is staying focused, having a focused mind, trying to deal with things as facts or like in a factual nature instead of just like paying attention to the emotional content, and yeah, just trying to incorporate logic in your planning and reactions to things. Sweet. I hope that you have a wonderful new moon. It's a great time for ritual. So yeah, I'm gonna write a new moon ritual after this. Everything's beautiful and blooming, and I'm just gonna try to dedicate all of Saturday to like watery activities, like a bath, journaling, art, meditating. It's a great time to meditate. Yeah, well, thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a good Neptune weekend. Bye now.